everybody. Obviously, it's a great summer experience to be back with Carmelo and, be able to. We had a little bit of a struggle this time, but I think with young players that sometimes happens. It took them a little while, but I think they, really in the last game we probably played as well as we played in any Olympics for sure. Both our gold medal games in the past were very close, tough games. Serbia was a very good team, and we didn't make them look like a very good team. So it was a great finish in an event that, we know going in we have to win, and it was good to win it that way convincingly to finish this Olympics. It was really a great event, and happy to be back here and get back to work. It's a long time, summertime, but get the players in here this weekend and be ready to go. Questions?
Jim, if Carmelo doesn't win an NBA title, what role do you think the gold medals will have?
Well, he's unlikely to win an NBA title. He's never been on a team that even had a remote chance of winning an NBA title. As a player, all you can do is try to make your team better, and every team he's been on, he's made them a lot better. Denver hadn't done anything prior to his getting there, and he took them into the playoffs. And they weren't going to beat the Lakers or the Spurs in any of those years. They won the championship most of the time. But he's always made his team better. It's obvious. You look back on your total basketball experience, and he had a great high school team, and he won the NCAA championship, and he won 3 gold medals in the Olympics. So that's a pretty good. It's a pretty good resume.
Mario Sack with WSYR. Coach, what will you remember? Probably maybe your last time coaching Carmelo. Your bond that you have with him.
He's just such a great kid. He really is. Not a kid anymore, but to me he is. He just gets along with everybody. He always has. He's always given back. Even when he was younger, a couple missteps here and there outside of basketball, but nothing big. And he's always helped us here with this building. We wouldn't be in this building if it wasn't for him. He's helped raise money here with us and courts for kids, and he's helped in Baltimore, Denver, New York, Puerto Rico. So he's always given back. That's all part of him, and he's a good guy. And he was a really good leader on this year's team. When we were struggling there, he was a good voice in the locker room, keep everybody together, and we had so many new guys that weren't used to. Some of them had never come off or hadn't come off the bench in a long time, and it was a struggle for them. But it was everything came together. We played better defense especially in the Argentina game than even against Spain. Spain had scored 100 points against us the last time we played them, so we held them 24 points under that, and then the final game. So it was but Carmelo was a unquestioned leader in this team, and I thought he did a great job.
Jim, did you talk to Carmelo at all about the changes with the Knicks and some of the new players coming there?
Just a little tiny bit. He wants to win in New York. I think I know anyway. I think the general opinion is that if Noah and Rose are healthy, then they'll be a better team. It's just a question if they will be healthy. They've been off and on the last 2 years. They've both been hurt. So I think if both those guys are healthy, then it certainly would make a big difference in Porzingis continuing to progress. And they're certainly, if all those things happen, they can be better. I think that's
the question we asked you the last couple of Olympics, but I'm sure it's obviously something that memorable for you. The feeling when you're playing the national anthem, you see you guys in the podium. What emotions do you feel at that moment?
It's a great feeling. I think the first time we won it, it was really emotional. I'm not going to say that it gets old, but it's the first time there was a lot of question marks, and nobody knew what was going to happen. And we were under, I think there was a lot of pressure to get the job done in that Olympics. And it was probably a little harder then. Spain was really good. The other teams we dominated, but Spain was really good then. They were at their peak, you know, having all the players that they had. So I think that was a little bit more emotional, and it was obviously a closer game in the finals. Whenever you get a big win in the finals, it takes a little of the emotion out of it. But it was still good to. You know that that losing is something that will not be good.
Jim, I don't know if you saw Carmelo's tears of joy,
Yeah.
part of tears of joy afterwards in his response. Like you said, it might get old, but he's done it 3 times. And
I think it meant a lot to him because he's had a couple bad years, obviously, in New York, and you know, he just. I thought the reason I wanted him to go was to have a good basketball experience for himself, and to be the leader of this team, which we felt we needed, with all the other veteran guys not either being hurt or just choosing not to play. I think it was important for him to go, and he did a great job. He really did a great job throughout the whole tournament.
Coach, what do you take out of another experience like this?
You know, I think you learn whenever you work on something that concentrating, what you do at a high level and you work on it for 34 days in a row, I don't care how old you are, I think you're going to learn some things. I think I've learned something every year that I've been in the Olympics. Something about relationships or dealing with players or some basketball-related things. There's just things that you're going to learn around those kind of players and those kind of coaches, and watching other teams and how they prepare and what they do, some of the things they do. So you're always going to bring things out of that, and I think it gives you, you know, it's, you know, when the season ends, you really don't do much with basketball for 5 months, 6 months, and you kind of get back to it. This is like a big jump in terms of being involved in basketball, thinking basketball. And the more you think it, the more you're involved in it, I think it does help you going forward. So I think I'm probably more ready to go when I get done with that coaching experience. And you know, and anyway, you know, we're coming off a great season, a great end of season, and so we got a lot of young players. We got a lot of guys we're excited about coaching. So I think you know, you're always excited to get ready again, and that experience, I think, helps you kind of get yourself ready to go.
And you and Mike Krzyzewski, Jerry Colangelo really kind of turned the USA basketball's national team into a continuing program. This year, you managed to win a gold medal with only 2 guys from the previous Olympic team. How do you see the 2020 team?
Well, I think we're going to have a great team. I think we got a great coach taking over. Greg Popovich was with us in Vegas this year. He's an unbelievable guy. Really the best pro coach probably, if not ever. He's in the conversation for the best NBA coach ever. And he's a really good guy. He's the perfect guy to take over. He's universally respected by all the players, and that's important. You know, it's not a young, new coach coming in there that they don't all know. Everybody knows him, knows who he is. So that part of it is huge. And he was with us every day in Vegas, and as he said, you know, this was a really good learning experience because we figured out this is how kind of you got to go. This is the way you do this, and you know, you don't need to start over. And the one good thing that's happened to us is what people think is a bad thing. When players don't return to play is a good thing for us, because now we've got young players who are ready because they've been playing. Because those guys didn't go to the World Championship 2 years ago. Klay Thompson did. Kyrie Irving did. So especially those 2 guys. But they got a first-hand look at what we got to do to be good. And they had that pressure on them to perform in those situations. And I think it really helped them coming forward. And when guys now didn't play this year, all these other guys got an opportunity, and some of them could play again. You know, by the time the next one rolls around, these guys are young. I think guys that didn't play this time that are still young, that were hurt, like Anthony Davis, Westbrook, and you know, Kawhi Leonard. There's 3 or 4 guys that are young out there that are, you know, top 10 NBA players that could play next time. And some of these guys are young guys. They could play again. And that changing, because what's happened to Argentina, the same 6 guys played every year for 10 years. They have nobody else. Those guys got old, and they have no young guys because they haven't never played in those situations. So I think that's really helped our program to get that, to get these young guys in it. Cousins played in the World Championship, and he was big in the championship game this year, again, as he was then. So I think all that, and then you got a new guy like DeAndre Jordan comes in there, has a big impact. You know, Paul George, Kyle Lowry. I mean, those guys all had a big role, and you know, and they have the opportunity to come back. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Durant didn't come back. I'd probably be more surprised if he didn't play. And Steph Curry has said that he was disappointed that he didn't play. He was, after the game out there, he came to the game, he said he wished he didn't come to the game because he wanted to play. So we'll see what happens. But the bottom line is I think we've kept a lot of guys involved and gotten experience, and that'll help our team. It's a national team. It'll help that next World Championship team, that next Olympic team.
Is
this your last Olympics, do you think?
You never know. You never know.
That's my question. Coach Popovich asked you.
I don't know. You know, it's too early to even think about any of that. That's a, you know, it's really with the change in the World Championship date from 18 to 19. That's a long ways away. Shoot.
What about the other stuff you do with
Let's hope I'm standing up by then.
Sorry about that. What about the other stuff you do with USA Basketball, the under 18?
Well, that's stuff that it changes. You know, it has to be, the chairman of that committee has to be approved, and I think that probably has to happen sometime before next year, and I'm not sure exactly where that is exactly, but I've been on that committee for a long time.
You want to keep? Is it something you'd like to?
Yeah, I really haven't thought about it that much. Yes, I don't know whether I will or not. It's something that's kind of fun to do. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it's not really. It doesn't really have an impact on much, but I like doing it. It's fun to do.
Coach, where have you seen the international game go over these last 10 years? And do you see it maybe as more recruiting for you that you might be able to reach out and look for those?
No, we don't recruit overseas. We really don't. Very rarely. The best young players over there usually get into the club things and become pros early, and the other guys aren't that good. So it's it's not something that we do. Any foreign players that we recruit are generally pretty much guys that have come over here and are in prep school someplace. Those are the guys that we generally are going to recruit and look at. International basketball is good. I think you see some teams are getting a little old, and some teams are good. They got some young guys that are really good. Serbia has a lot of good young guys. There's some really good young players in Europe. So, I think that will change. I think as long as we get some of our best players to play, we'll be in the mix. I personally, we want to win every year, but it's not life and death. We want to be good, and we want to have our good players, and we'll see. There's a whole new system of qualifying that'll be very difficult for people to understand. The qualifying takes place over a couple years, and NBA players won't be able to play in a lot of the qualifying things because of the way they've set up some of the qualifiers are during the NBA season. But that will also affect international teams as well, because their best players play in the NBA. So it's, the whole qualifying system is going to be, I think at the end of the day, you don't really need to study it that much. I think at the end of the day, we'll probably be able to qualify again and then, you know, send our best players. But it'll be a little more difficult than what it has been. Like, we won the Olympics, we're not qualified for the world. You have to go through a process. And before, if you won the world, you were in the Olympics, and now that's not even done. So there's a whole different system in play.
You think Malachi's in good hands with DeMarcus in second round?
Well, you know, he has an opportunity there to play. They're not. They have an opportunity to play, and you know, now you get that opportunity to see if you're ready for it or not. But it'll be interesting.
You talked a lot about watching the Warriors last year with your son at times. You got to coach 3 of them.
Yeah.
How do you think that thing meshes together?
They'll be fine. You know, they've got a very good coach, and the players are good guys. They're all good guys. They'll all give up something. I mean, Steph Curry's probably not going to average 30 points a game. I'm sure I don't think he'll care. You know, I think they'll have a better team. But they'll mesh. You know, Klay Thompson will get his shots, and he'll make them. And Curry's going to do what he does. Kevin Durant's a great player. I'd be surprised if, you know, if they weren't the best team next year. They got a lot of weapons.
Jim, can you speak on, as far as, you know, sharing the success with Coach K, such a good friend, and what you take from one another?
Well, it was a great experience to work together. We get along well, and we fit together well, and it's hard to work together with somebody that many times, that many years, and we just have a good relationship, and it couldn't have been a better experience. We never envisioned that it would go this long, but everything worked. It was smooth, and it was great experience.
Well, the Olympics is a great experience. Is it hard at all to be away from your players for the bulk of the summer?
No, they're going home. They were home when I was gone, so it wasn't too bad. I was here with them. You know, they were more of them were here than ever before in summer school, so I was around them more this summer than ever. Because usually, we've had many summers where guys went home for the whole summer, didn't go to summer school. And then we've had most summers they go just one session. But here we had them here really for both. So I was around our players more this year than ever before, and probably more than they wanted me to be around. But yeah, and so that's the good thing about the Olympics during August. That's usually when our players are home for the 2 or 3 weeks. So we got a lot of days ahead of us before we get to the first official day of practice. So.
All set?
All right.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you.
Thanks for